Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Sunday. This Sunday's Coach's Corner. I am excited, along with my amazing colleagues, about today's topic because this is so special. It's like every other lesson we talk about, every topic, everyone can relate to it, right? It woke up my mind and it also showed me so much. But anyway, Jamel Matias here, certified Proctor Gallagher consultant, mindset success coach. My Instagram is Believe in the Unseen, but you have to believe in the new you and your goals that you are achieving, especially in 2025. So I'll pass it on to my amazing colleague, Alicia.
Oh, hi. Alicia here from Sweden. And I am also certified um, Proctor Gallery certified coach, or what we call us. And I also certified international certified coach and values and mindset coach. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, Lu.
okay. So my name is Lou Perica. I too am a success mindset mentor, and I work with growth-minded women and I show them a different approach to success without all the hustle and the grind, but with authenticity and fulfillment so they can be, do, and have better. Paul.
Thank you, Lou. I'm Paul Wooters. I'm from the Toronto, Canada area, Proctor Gallagher consultant, mindset success coach, and personal development or personal growth teacher, and helping individuals design and create the lives that they want and truly deserve. Back to you, Jamel.
All right. I love it. We all mentioned, I believe, mindset or mind in some form. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. We're talking about the power of our thoughts, how our mind basically relates to the success that we have, how we basically attracted everything in our life, starting with our mind and our thoughts. And today's topic, I know Lou's excited. We're all excited because, this, when I finally understood it, it was like an epiphany. And it was so simple. And I'm kind of jumping the gun here with the question that I was thinking to start with. But let's just start with that one because I think it's a good bridge point, to kind of get things going here and bring some value. But before I forget, I didn't forget this time, make sure you drop some comments. We're here to help you. We're here to help explain some of our experiences, with this knowledge. But this is all about you and your future. So drop some comments. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. We love to hear from you. We love to talk to you. And, we'll address them during the live as well. So let me find the question here, because I think it's a great way to get things started. So, all right. So when you were first introduced, and let me stage this. Most people don't really understand what the mind looks like and what the mind is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. A lot of people refer the mind as the brain, and the brain is part of the body. Okay. So it's very interesting to get that, clear, to get an understanding. And that's order of the mind. When you understand a little more of who you are, it becomes clearer to you, or for me anyway, right? So when I was first introduced, I'll ask everybody here, when you were first introduced to the simplicity of what the mind looks like and how it operates, I'll share. It's called the Secret Genie, also known as the Stick Man. What was your initial experience, or how has it impacted your life? Anybody would love to jump at that one? I think Lou is going to fall out of her seat, so I'll pass it to Lou there for that.
Well, as you alluded to, Jamel, this was my favorite lesson. This was the best thing that I have ever learned. And I think I can speak on behalf of this crew and probably most people. I was always so focused on results. I wasn't thinking about my thoughts, my behavior, my feeling. I was just so focused on results. How can I change results? How can I get better results? So when I was introduced to the mind, again, I never thought about my mind at all, or the brain, right? But I never thought about my mind. So when I was introduced to the stick person, I kind of giggled. I was like, what the heck is this? And may I show? This is the stick person, right? Just a couple of circles, a couple of little lines up here. But what this did, when I first saw it, I kind of laughed because it's so simple, right? But what it did was gave me clarity. And when you have clarity and understanding of how the mind works, this is where you really become empowered, because the mind is, it's a process, it's activity. You can't see it or touch it. That's why having an image brings clarity, because without an image there's always confusion. So for me, it illustrated to me the genius that's really locked within all of us, right? And by understanding, again, it empowered me to be able to direct my thoughts, to know where the thoughts were coming from, how to direct them, and how to choose and make better decisions going forward for the results that I do want.
Paul,
That
you want
was,
to jump in there?
yeah, that was awesome. It just opens up a whole can of stuff to talk about, right? And I know how excited Lou loves to talk about this, as we all do. So it's not pick on Lou Day, but as Jamal said at the beginning, what does the mind look like? Because as we were taught, we think in pictures, right? We think in pictures. And so when, you can think of anything, you can think of last Christmas, you can think of when you were a child, you can think of your job, and immediately in your mind, a picture of that incident or that person or that place pops up. But when we were asked, what does the mind look like? There's a blank. What does the mind look like? And as Jamel said, the mind is not the brain. The brain is an instrument of the mind. And so how do we make that work? How do we make that work in our favor? And unless we have a picture of it in our heads, we can't determine how we're going to change our minds. As a kid sometimes, or even as an adult, you should change your mind about that. Well, how do we change something when we don't know what it looks like? Because that's how we as humans operate. We need to see a picture of it. So this stick man, it was so simplistic, as we've already said, it's almost looks like laughable, but we're also told, don't allow the simplicity of that to determine, how important that really is. And it was just so impactful. It was just so impactful to really get a grasp. As Lou said, give us clarity, gave me clarity. Okay, but now it helps me to understand that our conscious, that our mind, is we're grown up with our cultures and our beliefs and our experiences, and so we're using our conscious thinking mind, and we're influencing our subconscious mind, but we're not even realizing we're doing it. And once I had an understanding of that, I really developed this awareness of when I was getting a result. Like Lou said, we're focused on results. And we want a different result. Okay, how, go back to the last week when we spoke, or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the knowing doing gap. When we talked about that, it was, why do we do things when we know better? And when we understand the mind, then we come to an understanding of how we can really change the things, change our results by developing that understanding and getting that clarity. It's just so good. Just there's so much to talk about here and so much to understand. It's such a wonderful lesson, powerful lesson, and an important lesson. I'm going to hand it over to Alicia now.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. For me, it was, I have always with me that, because it changed me so much that I want to remind me all the time that I am in power. I am in charge of my life, because at the beginning I didn't understand what the mind are. When I started to study with Bob, it, it was like I don't understand what he say. But when he presented the stick person, it was like, oh my gosh, I was, now it's, I always like my things. Now it's a lot of opportunity, instead of always thinking about that I am a result of something outside me. I found that everything is within me, everything. And just I need to start to using it in a powerful way, in a way that give me more power, more control over my life, my success. And also because it was so much frustration, because I want this, but why I'm not doing that? And then, oh, it's because I'm thinking with the intellectual part of me, but my subconscious mind, is the emotional mind, is like putting a brake in my transport. I don't know what I call that. Like the car that is taking me to a place, but the brake was on all the time. I knew where I want to drive to, but the brake was there all the time. So for me, it was um, amazing. So it's why I always have with me. It remind me that I have the power to change whatever I want. Yeah. Yeah, Mel.
Yeah, I love this. I love it to hear everybody's perspective on it. And, to kind of help some of our audience to understand why we're saying these things, this is a quick rundown of what this really is. Okay. I know it looks very simplistic, which is great. Bob always shared, get order of the mind. He said, order is heaven's first law. And I never really understood why he kept saying that. So this is an example that was brought to him that was very impactful, that helped millions of people. So at the top here, is your conscious mind. And down here is your subconscious mind. And there's my daughter. She has the same thing. She has a conscious mind and subconscious. Your children as well. Myself as well. Everyone that watches this, these are two main parts of the mind, right? And up here are sensory factors. We've been blessed to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. And down here is your body, right? So your conscious mind is also known as your thinking mind. So you can think anything you want there, right? You have the ability to accept or reject any thoughts. Down here is your subconscious mind. So that's also known as your emotional mind. I saw Lou's stick figure. She had the heart there as well, right? That's what you become emotionally involved with. That's your emotion, right? And down there, the body as well. So it's also known as your garden or the heart, right? So, and down here is your body. The body is an instrument of what's going on, usually here in your subconscious mind. So here you can pick whatever thoughts you want. You have that ability, and when I was introduced to this, I thought it was funny. Like Lou said, I was like, what are you talking about? That's just a stick, man. We all drew that in school, but, understanding it at this level, it actually gave me a lot of peace. Most of my life, I was walking around letting thoughts happen without being aware of them. Even negative thoughts. I know a lot of people can relate to this. Thoughts that you're not enough, thoughts, that you're limited in some way, allowing other people's words to impact you in an emotional way. And we have a lot of programs here in the subconscious mind that limits us from our true abundance and who we're meant to be and what we're meant to achieve. So when I first was introduced to it, I really thought it was funny, but it helped me kind of become a better person because I was aware of my thoughts, and it calmed me. It really did, because my thoughts were all over the place and I didn't know I had this power. Alicia mentioned power. You have power and ability over everything you think. It's not just, oh, I thought that and I need to control that. It's more of a fluid thing, because you become aware of it and you can say, hey, that's not me. I don't need to even focus on the reason why I can't do that. Let's focus on how I am doing that, or how I can, right? So it just gives you a lot of clarity, and it gave me a lot of peace as well. But it is my power, because I know what I can do now, and I know how to do it. And we all want to help you with this, because it's profound once you learn it through experience, not just through words and knowledge, right? When you walk the experience, it's way different than just reading about it. Anybody want to chime in with that one? Did I explain it well?
Absolutely. Yeah. When you understand that results are a mind-body thing, and we've all heard that we're spiritual beings, we have an intellect, and we live in, no, I'm sorry, we're all spiritual beings having a human experience. But when I learned that I was a spiritual being, that I have an intellect, and I have a body, these are things that I have. So the whole human experience is a mind-body thing. When you think about, we've all heard that we're the highest form of creation. So what separates us from the animal kingdom? It's our ability to think, to create. So when you start to understand the power of the mind, which is a process, it's not a thing, it's a process, and it exists in every cell of our body. This is why it's very important to learn and understand how to direct your thoughts, because sometimes we hear bad news, or what we think may be bad news, and we spiral quickly because our mind gets caught up in these thoughts and they start to snowball. And it's not until later, maybe you hear good news that now those bad thoughts have gone away and you're thinking better thoughts. But when you understand that when you do hear news that may not be so terrific, you have the ability to direct those thoughts. You do not need to spiral. Do things happen? Absolutely. But when you understand the power of thinking, the power that every human has, you will start to truly understand what it means to be the highest form of creation. We are manifesting all day long, whether we realize it or not. So why not take that power, that ability to manifest, to create the life that you truly desire? And that's like what Jamel was saying. Our five senses are connected to our thinking mind. And we keep, just like I mentioned earlier, I kept looking at results, looking at results, looking at results. Those results that I was hearing, seeing, tasting, touching, smelling were controlling the way I was thinking. But this part of our mind is also, as Jamel mentioned, we can accept or reject ideas. This is where our ideas and dreams come. And then when we get excited in the emotional mind, it's like planting a seed. You plant the idea. This is why I have a heart here. It's the emotional mind. This is the part that executes. This is the part that does the thinking and the dreaming. This part executes through the body. It sets up the vibration. When you're in a good mood, you feel it in the body. The body may smile, dance, put their hands up, right? When you have thoughts of anger, think about this. You have thoughts of anger. The body tenses up, your face scowls, you have a different walk because the emotion is executing through your body. It's setting up the vibration. So when you start to truly understand how our results are a mind-body thing, you stop relying on strategies, because we're all looking for strategy. But you got to go to the power plant and learn this. Do you need strategies? Absolutely. But this has nothing to do with marketing or advertising or any of that, right? You have to, I mean, because those things were not around thousands and thousands of years ago. We've always had the power. We've always had the power to direct our thoughts, our emotions, and our behavior. And once you, again, truly understand it, one of my coaches says you need a PhD in this. You really and truly need to understand who you are and just how powerful you are. You are the highest form of creation. Think about that. And it's the mind that gives us that power. We're able to direct our thoughts.
Yeah, that's so great. And not to repeat what everybody has said, but just maybe word it a bit differently. I think the important thing to remember is, our mind is an activity. It's not a thing. And when we're talking about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, we're not talking about two minds. We're just talking about two spheres of activity, right? Of the one single mind. And as Lou said, the conscious or thinking mind is where we make our decisions. You decide what books to read, you decide where you're going to live, you decide on the home you're going to buy, you decide your partner, you decide on what job you want to pursue. And the subconscious mind is the emotional mind. You just think the subconscious is controlling our vital functions. We don't consciously think about, getting up this morning, I got to start my heart. I've got to start breathing. I got to start. Those things are just happening. All your functions are happening without our thinking about it. And so, as Lou alluded to, what we think about and what we impress upon our subconscious mind, it will just, the subconscious mind doesn't have the ability to accept, only has the ability to accept, doesn't have the ability to reason or to question. It's just going to do whatever commands we give it through our thoughts. Alicia, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I want to add that the conscious mind get the information, as we say. We see, we hear, we smell, and we touch, and we the five senses that we have. So we get the information, and it's we that decide if the information is like no bad, no good. It just is. So I normally say, for example, if I say apple, what do you think? What do you think, Jamel, when I say apple? What is the first thought? What you say?
Tasty.
Tasty, Lou?
Fruit.
Fruit, Paul?
Yeah, delicious fruit. Snack, fruit.
Yeah, and I say it is what is I call this the is something very bad when I say apple, because I am allergic. So we got the same thing, apple. We have different representation of that, and for me it's like, oh no, because my mind go apple. Oh, remember that time when you were so swollen here and you could not breathe? This is not good. So the information that we get in is not bad or good. It is how we decide to label that. And I normally say that, okay, we get the information through the conscious mind. we take an example. If you go up in the morning, you wake up and you hear something in the kitchen, and you see the light and you smell that coffee is on you smell coffee. Yeah. So that is the information that come through your conscious mind. And it try to understand what is happened. And then you say, oh, if somebody is cooking coffee, and sent to the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind say, oh, it have two different, like, oh, this is a very nice, oh, that is time to relax, take time for yourself. Or as me, I don't like coffee, like, oh my gosh, what is that? So we can decide, and then the subconscious mind decide that, oh, this is a nice, let's see, that this is a nice moment for me. Then it sent a message to the conscious mind that this is a good time for me. And then the body start to feeling good, and then say, oh, this is a very good. And then, oh, then the body say, go to the kitchen and sit down and take your coffee and drink. So it's, and this is millisecond that is working. Yeah.
It makes the body relax, right?
Yeah, make the
Because
body
it's a good
relax.
thought.
And yeah, but for example, me that I don't like coffee, it's like, oh, maybe I don't go there. I go to the shower instead. So yeah.
Yeah.
So this is how I think with that, when we start to understand the process, that we think that we make decisions consciously. Oh no, it's the feelings that are helping us to make the decisions. Yeah. Mel, you want to say something?
Yeah, I love that. You all, we can talk for hours about this, I'm sure. Because you're saying so much value that it's all connected. And speaking of connected, feelings, right? This little guy here helped me understand what law of attraction was. But more importantly, a primary law, the law of vibration, which is, like a universal law. So feelings is the conscious awareness of what you're thinking. It's so beautiful that you share that, because you can think something wonderful here. I can think about, the beautiful oceans I saw in Bahamas a couple days ago, and I get to feel that again as I'm thinking about it in my conscious mind. And what happens, my vibrational state changes, even on a molecular level, down to the atoms. So my vibration basically forces the body to take certain action or feel a certain way. Everything vibrates, right? Bob always stressed that, it may appear to be solid. And that's when your sight can be a gift or a curse, because we appear to be solid, but we're a lot bigger than what we think we are, what we're aware we are. So the law of vibration, it makes the body do new things, especially when you're emotionally involved. Look at Lou's heart in the emotional mind and the subconscious. It imagine thinking about what you're going to do for 2025, what you're going to do today after this call, what you're doing, the rest of the days left in this year, right? So you're at a high vibrational state. And when you're constantly revisiting that frequency, you're moving towards whatever you desire or becoming. And here comes the law of attraction. It's coming to you as you move towards it. So I wanted to kind of share that a little bit, because it brought so much understanding for me about the law of attraction. Why do we attract these things, whether they're negative or positive, right? We attract some negative things that we don't want. It's because of your frequency, your vibrational state. But it started with your thoughts. Mm-hmm. You can't think a beautiful thing. I keep going back to the ocean and the beach, right? And feel bad, right? You usually birthdays, you're happy because you get to celebrate with family and friends. It's your day, but you don't feel bad, right? So it always starts with the energy that you're given, right? Thoughts are just energy. And Alicia stressed very well, it just is. We dictate what we do with this energy and this gift. Now, this brought so much clarity to me because every day I revisit this. I'm like, okay, why am I thinking that negative thought? I know what route that takes me. So I reject it. I just let it go, So yeah, thanks for sharing and inspiring that. I appreciate it. Yeah.
I'm also thinking of the scripture in the Bible where it says, "Be ye transformed with the renewing of your mind." Not of your strategies, not of your marketing, not of your doing, by the renewing of your mind. This is the power plant. That's why the mind that's represented in the stick person is bigger than the body. But because we can't see our mind, we put all our attention on the physical world, where the power is really on the unseen. That's where the power is. So that's why understanding this, and I think next week we're going to get into our mental faculties and where the power comes from. So really make sure you're here next week as well. But understanding, again, this is the thinking mind. It accepts or rejects ideas. This is the subconscious mind. It's the emotional mind, energy in motion. It sets up the vibration for the body to behave a certain way. And sometimes, depending on what the thought and the vibration, it could be like sometimes I will have a conversation with someone and my thought is, what the heck are they talking about, right? Like my body doesn't go like this, but I may go, like I may raise an eyebrow, go, because the mind is always executing through the body. So it could be something very slight, right? Like an eyebrow raised, which is describing in what's going on in my mind. Like, I don't believe what this person is saying or whatever, right? That doubt is being expressed through my mind. It could be so small, like just something changing of the pupils in my eyes could change, but it's always expressing itself through the body. The body is the vehicle for the mind to express itself. And our results are a reflection of what's going on in our mind. So if we can learn and really understand how to direct this, this is your secret genie. You really can, live the life that you desire.
Yes, an example came to mind as you're expressing that. I want everybody to think of a lemon. Hold a lemon in your hand, visualize how the skin looks, even smell it, smell the lemon, and pretend you're cutting it and open the lemon, smell it, right? And think about just licking the top of it, and take a bite in it, like a small little bite. And now what's happening, you're going there in your imagination and you may be even starting to salivate a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So the body, here's an example, right? The body's reacting to the thoughts in your mind. So the body
doesn't know if it's
right.
real or not real. Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't know if it's real or if it's make-believe, right? So you can use this to anything. That's how we are creators, to create. And Lou touched a little bit, right? The animals, they're very comfortable and designed to be in their environment. I love animals. I watch all the Animal Planet, all that stuff, right? And, sharks, we saw a shark actually in the beach, but its skin is designed to move quickly through the water, right? To keep it warm in deeper, cold water. Look at the cheetah. Its fur is thick, so that way the bugs won't bother it, whatever, and cool off. And actually the wind can keep it quiet while it hunts, when it hunts for its prey. So all these animals are designed to be in their environment. But look at us. Look at the diversity on this panel, right? Even in your own town, in your own house, we're totally out of our environment. It's because we create our environment, knowing what's on this stick figure. We create it. And these are the gifts that we've been given. And when Bob broke that down, I was like, wow, let me rewind it. Let me hear that again. And it sunk in so well. So you have the ability to create your 2025, your everyday, actually. But with this awareness, now you have a choice. Right? Before, it's not your fault. You didn't know what a paradigm was. You didn't know your ability. You didn't know your gifts. But now you have a choice, and, I want to stress that all of us have call links available. We want to talk with you today to help you with this, because the more you apply this in your life, the better you get at it. Every day, you're creating your life instead of letting everything else create you. Sorry. I just got really inspired there, with the lemon idea. Yeah. So let's move on to an awesome question here. How does understanding the relationship, and we talked a lot about it, how does understanding the relationship between the conscious and subconscious mind empower you to change habitual behaviors and achieve your goals? Anybody want to start on that one?
Yeah, I can start. We talk a lot of this already, but for me, understanding that, okay, I can consciously decide to do something, but if in my subconscious mind, I have a lot of beliefs, and some of the beliefs I am very aware of. So those beliefs will affect my thinking, that create the emotions, that create my behavior, and create my results. So when I started to working with that, it was so good for me, because when I decided, like, I want this, and then, like, I was procrastinating, I do that later. So I started to think, okay, what are my programmings that I have in my subconscious mind that don't get me to do what I want consciously? So then it came a lot of, like, oh, you don't think that you are good enough, or you are this and that. And if I have that beliefs that I am not good enough, then I will act like that. Because in my thinking, it was like, oh no, it's not idea that you do this because you are not good enough. And then I will be paralyzed. So everything is created twice, one in our thought and then in our actions. But it means that the thought and the emotion need to be in congruence, alignment with each other, so that I can make the decision to take that action. So if they are not in congruence, then it will be a fight inside me that maybe it's like, no idea to do that, So instead of saying a lot of opportunities, then maybe you see, no, everything is dark, nothing is good. It's like, oh no. So seeing everything dark and so. So for me, it was very, very, so, and you already know my my guys here, because they are sitting, all my beliefs are sitting here and telling me, no, you are not good enough, you are not that or that. And then I, and sometimes they want to protect us. I do this because I love you. I need to protect you. But it's not that. It's only stopping us from doing whatever we want. And for me, when I understood that, yeah, that. And this is something that you need to work all the time with this.
Yes.
I normally say our mind is like the garden. If you have weed in the garden and you don't take away them, the garden will be full with weeds. So you need to all the time to work this. Nothing that, oh, today I'm ready with that. And this I learned from Bob. The first time I met Bob, I was so proud of me, and I was a little bit, I have learned this, and I have an LP, and I have this and this and this. And Bob looked at me and he said to me, Alicia, if you think that you are ready, that you don't need to work more with yourself, it's better that you dig a hole and then you lie there and die. And I was like, yes, sir. From that day, I really, Bob was like very direct. And from that day, I decided that I am a newbie in everything, in teaching, in learning. I said, is that Jamel think about that? Okay, it's Lou says that, always learning from other people. And that learned me from Bob. It's a clear picture I have from Bob. Yeah, Bob Proctor. Mhm.
Yeah, Alicia, I love that you use the example of a garden, because the subconscious mind is like a fertile garden. So you wanted to, if people have experience of planting something in their garden, they clear the space, and you can plant whatever you want in there.
Yeah.
And if it's unguarded, then you will, what will happen? Well, weeds will grow in its place. But you have to keep going back. You have to keep going back and pulling out those weeds, right? And that's like those weeds, hey, lose back. So the weeds are our negative or limiting beliefs, right? And so we have to replace those. We have to replace those. So, someone said to me once, well, affirmations, I mean, they don't work. I think positively, but I'm getting these bad results because there's a conflict. It has to be in alignment with what you feel. You have to, and that's why emotion is really, really important in it. When you have an affirmation, and Alicia said, you have to take some action. You have to go and take some action. You can't just wish that I don't want weeds in my garden. You have to actually go out and pull those weeds. So you have to replace those negative beliefs with positive beliefs. And as Alicia said, it takes time. It takes time. Like what you learned took time. It took time for you to learn how to speak. It took time for you to learn how to write. It took time for you to learn how to play the piano. And it's through repetition. So the subconscious mind thrives on repetition and emotion. So you really need to get emotionally involved with the idea. Now, Lou has spoken about again and again about, the emotional mind. She has that heart and the emotional mind. So it has to really be in alignment. So when you think of something, and Jamel gave a really good example of the lemon. We were just talking about a lemon and talking about cutting it and peeling it and tasting it, and you could feel the saliva gather up in your mouth. You have to imagine what the desired result is and how it's going to make you feel. Not just say, this is the result I want, but how will it make me feel when I have that result? So we really have to get emotionally involved with our idea when we're planting it, but it's through that repetition, so that we can eliminate those useless weed seeds. But it requires work, and it requires you monitoring what your thoughts are. And I love what Jamel said earlier. We have, you created this awareness, and that was for me as well. Just being aware of what my thoughts were and stopping myself and saying, okay, I'm feeling this way because I'm thinking about this thing. So I have to cancel that thought and replace it with an empowering thought, and then get emotionally involved. Well, how is that going to make me feel? When I have that desired result, how will I feel? And I think that's so great. So I just loved what Alicia said and Jamel. And I know Lou has something to add of real importance.
So yeah, so obviously I had a little internet snafu, but again, this is your thinking mind. We have to go over and over and over. As Solomon once said, of all you're getting, get understanding. I draw this out thousands of times. When I'm having a thought, right? Is this the thought that I want? Because when you think about it, we have about 60,000, I've heard 60,000 thoughts a day. They come and they go. They come and they go. So which thoughts are you attaching to? Which ones are you connecting to? Well, I can tell you the majority of them, your dominant thoughts are coming from the subconscious mind simply because when we were children, our beliefs, our culture, our habits, all the ideas that we were being impressed upon the subconscious mind when we were babies are all still here. See, this subconscious mind does not think, it just executes. This part thinks, but when we were babies, this part wasn't developed yet. So everything went into here. So the subconscious mind already has patterns. It has a blueprint. It has an image of who you think you are. And all those habits and beliefs are here. So it's always executing your beliefs. But you say, but I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a billionaire. That's wonderful. But does this pattern believe that? And this is why constant spaced repetition of a new idea is vital. If you just have this idea once in a blue moon, it's just a thought. You're not emotionally connected to it, right? It's just a thought, and thoughts just kind of, they come and go, they come and go. This is why it's vital to be emotionally connected. So you start thinking about that thought over and over and over and over again. The body starts to believe. This starts to believe that you are that millionaire, that billionaire. You're in a wonderful relationship. You have supreme health, whatever it is, through repetition. But these thoughts that we have, will always continue to think the same thoughts until a new idea is introduced. So that's why we're on autopilot the majority of the day. We're not thinking of new ideas to replace the old thoughts. So that's why we keep getting the same results, because we are running off of this image that has been impressed upon conscious mind. It knows you. It's that fight or flight, right? But it's impersonal. It's not going to get upset if you change. It just knows a program. That's all. It knows a program, and it's executing it through you. And that's why frustration comes out, because you want to be better. You want to do better. You want to be healthier. You want to be in a wonderful relationship. You're sick and tired of living in debt. Just, okay, you know what you want, but you have to create a new idea, a new image, because your subconscious mind is living off an image. It's executing off an image of who you think you are, the one that has been programmed when you were a child. So if you heard lack and limitation, scarcity, I can't do that. You got to know the right people. You have to work hard. Money doesn't grow on trees, yada, yada, yada. That's the image that it's going by. And that's what you get your behavior, which gives you your results.
Yay. I love it. I love it. Great job, Lou. Great job. I love that. Paul and Lou talked on this a little bit. A lot of people try affirmations, right? And I hear that as well. And some people say it's not working. I'm trying affirmations and I talk positive. Now, what Paul was referring to is disharmony, right? You can believe one thing in the conscious mind, right? And say that to yourself, I can do this. I'm a great person. I am enough. But if you don't have it here in your subconscious mind and you don't believe it, feeling is the secret. Lou talked about that. You have to feel it as well. You can believe it here and not really believe it here. So you want to believe it on both levels. Believe it in your conscious and feel and believe it here in your subconscious. And that basically you're in harmony. You're in harmony. You're disharmony when you believe it here and you don't believe it here. It's kind of like running a race. You train, you're ready to go. You believe you can win, but down here, I'll just settle for close to last as long as I finish the race. That's what you feel, right? But up here, that's what you're thinking. And Lou got my wheels turning there, where we're basically, a lot of adults have a 7-year-old mindset. I hate to say it like that, but this is a big realization, right? Meaning you've been mentally conditioned up until you're about 7 years old. So this, Lou mentioned, this isn't here. Your subconscious mind is open to whatever your parents are saying, your guardians, whoever raised you, your environment at the time up until that age. So you have all this deep-seated stuff that's in there, right? That you're probably not even aware of, even myself or some of us here. And what we're doing is personal development. We're putting what we want here. Now we're aware of our power. And Lou mentioned constant space repetition. This is where you're choosing what you plant here in your garden. You want to grow beautiful fruit, tomatoes, roses, whatever, or do you want poison? And that's why up here you can accept or reject any thoughts. It's so beautiful when you understand it. But, walking around without awareness of this, you're limited to that 7-year-old you that has been programmed from the outside rather than from the inside out. Yeah. So I noticed we haven't gotten to all our questions. We were talking,
I
very
want to
deeply
say
about.
I want to say something about that you say. Be careful with what you are eating. In the body you are eating food, and if you want to take care of your body, then you don't eat that and that, that your diet. So it's important the mental diet, what you are putting there, because for example you will never eat a moldy tomato, but you are always eating molding thoughts or moldy information from the outside. So it's very important. Also one thing that I also want to say is that sometimes, and I say because I have clients that have a little bit issue on thinking what I'm thinking, to be aware what they are thinking, because we have some preference. Some are visuals, some are more feelings, or some are auditive. So if I ask them, what are you thinking? They cannot relate. But if I ask them, what are you feeling?
Mm.
And they say, oh, I'm feeling this and this and this. Okay, so in order to feel that way, what do you need to think? Oh, I need to think this and this. And then they will be aware what they are thinking, you know? So it's very important because sometimes people don't say, oh, but I don't know what I'm thinking. So start what are you feeling or what you did that make you feel that way that you can connect to a thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, the also when I was growing up, and especially I would imagine for a man, your emotions are a little poo-pooed on, right? Especially for a man, suppress those emotions, don't show your feelings, etc. But I will tell you, the emotions are extremely powerful because it is your guidance system.
Yeah.
And they're so powerful that the advertising companies, all of these companies know this. This is why during the holidays, they play upon your emotions. They play the music. They get you thinking about hot chocolate and sitting by a fireplace and everyone gathering together. Now, your logical mind might be saying, I can't afford the gifts. I got bills already coming in. What am I doing? I can't. But they're going to ramp up the music, right? And they, again, the images. Oh, everyone's happy sitting around opening gifts. And what do? You get into the spirit because emotion makes you act. Logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. They know this.
Mhm.
They are playing upon your emotions to take action. What happens the day after Christmas? All that fuzziness is gone, right? Whoop, out the door. Come on, did you get something that you hated for Christmas? Well, come on down. It's 50% off today. And you're like, oh, right? But all that fuzzy, warm fuzziness is gone. Emotions make you act. Think about when you fall in love. You do things that you couldn't imagine. You're just so much in love because emotions make you act. So never, never, never poo-poo your emotions. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What am I thinking? What thoughts am I thinking? Because the thoughts lead to feelings, and feelings lead to your actions, and your actions lead to your results. It's thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Okay, so really, always, like Alicia was saying, if we ask them, what are you thinking? There's so many thoughts going through, 60,000 plus a day, but you're feeling, because that is the dominant thoughts that you're thinking over and over. So it's a guidance system. So it's extremely powerful. So never, never, never poo-poo your emotion. I remember someone said, oh, a good leader shouldn't be led by their emotions. But if they understood the process of what we're talking about, they would think twice about what they're saying. Because again, we're taught not to express our emotions, hold them back. Why? Why? Because they're very powerful. They're very powerful.
Well said, Lou. And speaking of taking action, we
Yes.
have action steps for you. So, Lou, would you mind sharing a little bit of the action steps for everybody here to apply basically what we've been sharing here today?
Sure. So I have an exercise here. This is for you to connect the dots between your thoughts, your feelings, and your results, because results do not lie. But they're a product of yesterday's thinking, of past thinking. So we have the ability to change them. So I want you to observe your thoughts and take a moment to reflect on a specific area in your life where you're not getting the results that you want. And for an example, it could be your finances, your relationships, your health, or your career. And these, you're going to notice a lot of the exercises and a lot of the things that we talk about are very repetitive because it's the same process over and over. Okay. So write down the current result that you are experiencing now. For example, I'm always struggling to pay.
Ah,
Sit back, okay, and ask yourself, what thoughts do I consistently think about in this area? Example, I never have enough. People don't respect me. So how do these thoughts make me feel? If I thought people don't respect me, right away my body kind of tenses up, right? I almost feel like getting a little defined, like people don't respect me, yeah? Right? So your thoughts will lead to your feelings, right? And typically, like the two examples, you feel anxious, frustrated, and powerless, right? And what are these behaviors? What behaviors do these feelings lead to? So if I feel that way, I might avoid doing any financial planning, right? Working with my finances because I just want to avoid, taking action because these are typical behaviors when I think that way. Or I might withdraw from people. If I feel that I'm not being respected by people, I may withdraw. I'll stay away from parties and things like that, right? So this is how my body will behave to my thoughts and feelings. So third, I want you to identify patterns. Notice your habitual thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. They have created a cycle that reinforces your current patterns. We were talking about the stick person. We're looking at our results with one of our senses, right? We're looking at the results. Oh, people don't respect me. People don't respect me. I don't have enough money, which is causing us to think a certain way. These five senses are connected to our thinking mind. So if we're just looking at our results, it's controlling our thoughts. Those thoughts are making us feel a certain way. When we feel that way, we are behaving. The body is behaving it that way. And that's where we're getting our results. So choose one thought to change. Reframe it into a positive empowerment belief. I am capable of managing my finances, or I am worthy of love and respect. And as soon as you start to say that, you will feel the shift. Okay, so close your eyes, use your imagination, what it would feel like if this new belief were true, and let that feeling sink in. Remember, the subconscious mind doesn't know if it is real or imagined. So when you're believing that you are worthy of loving relationships, this doesn't know, but you have to do it over and over because this already has a pattern. This already has a pattern that you don't get respect or your finances, you're always struggling. It already has a pattern. So you need to feed it over and over. And then lastly, what is one small action that you can take today that aligns with your new behavior? The panel talked about it, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, and your action have to be in alignment, not a zigzag, in alignment, right? So what's the one small action you can take today that aligns with your new belief? For finances, for an example, create a simple budget. You've already taken action. By taking that action, you are going to feel an enormous shift. For relationship, express gratitude with someone, okay? And then start to monitor your feedback over the next week. Observe how your new thoughts, feelings, and behaviors start to influence your results, and start to journal about any changes or shifts that you notice. This is your secret genie. This is your secret genie. Learn this on a PhD level, but it's simple. It's not complicated. It's very simple. But this is something that you take with you forever. Like Bob said, if you're not constantly growing and you think you know it all, you may as well dig a ditch.
It's why I have always with me,
Hmm.
you know, to yeah.
yeah. And I had an idea as well to post that exercise like in the comments So that way, everybody can kind of follow the steps there.
I have the same idea.
Okay, great. Look, we're on the same frequency.
Same.
Yeah, I love that. Alicia,
Masterminding.
exactly. You got it. Alicia, Paul, did you have anything to share before we wrap up here?
There's so much. I mean, we could continue talking about this all day, right? I mean, we're just kind of like scratching the surface, and we're all getting excited too. We want to really share this with everyone. I'm just gonna I was taking some notes, and I'll just leave this one little message, and that is, I was writing some notes as people were talking, but remember that the subconscious mind doesn't engage in proving whether your thoughts are good or bad, whether they're true or false, right? It's just going to act according to the nature of your thoughts and suggestions. And it's really, really important to just have that awareness when you're feeling something. Try to trace back, okay, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? Why am I feeling this way? And then trace it back to see what your thoughts are, and can you change your thoughts about that particular thing so that we are not being controlled or reacting to our outside circumstances, so that we can take control. Because whenever people say, I want to change, but whatever they say after the but is a circumstance that you're creating in your own mind as to why you can't overcome that. Alicia.
Yeah, no, I also wanted to say about this help you to start be more aware when you are reacting or responding to something outside you, and also that this, remember that this is it's like a learning a language. You start very slow. I'm learning English, and I came to Sweden also. I speak Spanish, and I came to Sweden. I wasn't a bad person because I could not Swedish, but I started to learn Swedish, and then I can speak Swedish or Spanish or English or another language, but this is a way of learning, and you need to learn and learn and learn. So, this is a language, a new language that you are learning.
Yeah, I like how you put that, Alicia. This is a new language, especially for people that never seen the stick figure or Secret Genie before. But, this is a language that you will carry for the rest of your life once you really understand it. And Paul talked about, I would like to do that, but that but is basically your old self trying to hold you back. We all have dreams. We all want more out of life, and we want to be more, do more, have more. But allowing your old self hold you back is the comfort zone. And even not even doing the exercise, that's you. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. That's your old self holding you back. And it's so easy to do, right? Because you're so used to it, right? You have your favorite food. You go to a restaurant and order the same thing every time, but you desire something else. You desire more. And that's why we're here. Have fun with the exercise. It's fun, because you learn through experience. And contact one of us. We shared so much value here. Each of us are here willingly, very openly, to help you. And we love helping people with this material because we're going through it with our lives as well. I will do this until my last day because I love it that much. But what's special is you have to choose. You have this knowledge now. And what is the choice? Personal development. You're personally developing your mindset every day. You're the only problem and the only solution. Why not be a solution to what you truly desire?
Yeah.
So our call links are in the description. Set a call. I have time today. I'm sure all of us are readily available to talk with you and meet you, and apply this information, because it's different than us just telling you this material and sharing it, but living it and getting the results that you want and that you deserve, is key. And I want the best for everybody that watches this and everyone here as well. So I'm looking forward to the next Sunday. We're going to talk about how to connect with spirit and energy, and, almost the opposite of what these are. The sensory factors, almost the opposite. But, we all been blessed with these gifts. So thank you all for the amazing conversation today. I'm sure someone will get plenty of value from this today. And yeah, you want to do like a hold up our, oh, Paul doesn't have one. You can draw one really quick. But think of this, everyone. Think of this,
This is your secret genie.
And actually, look at Paul. Paul's the secret genie himself. You see that? Yeah. Yeah. We'll see you next Sunday, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.